Hi. This doesn't sound like it's on. Is it working back there? Barely? Yeah? Okay. Well, hello. My name's Chris Keck. I'm the director of the Palo Alto Prep School. Welcome to our 2017 graduation. First time in the last 15 years we've been here, we have this weather. And sometimes it's just so darn hot. It's impossible with that. But you know what? It's a beautiful day, and it's going to continue that way. So nice to see you guys here. You look great. So I'd like to introduce our staff to you. We'll move through this. And as I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Lisa O'Hearn Keck, Dylan Rich, Andrew Fryer, Matthew Medore, James Donald, Joe Cannon, Christopher Howard, Chris Vaughn, Andrew Jonas, Allison Simonton, Julia Arepatan, Tiffany Seagrave, Brittany Konecki, and Lisa DiMarino, who can't join us today. Thank you, everyone. You guys, yeah. So I got to tell you, you guys can sit down. I got to tell you, it's a three-legged stool. You guys are the first leg. You trusted us. You brought your little darlings into my office. They were introduced to these guys, and now they're sitting over here. And that's the way it works. It takes a village. It really does. And I'm so proud of everybody's efforts and really want to acknowledge all the moms and dads here for making that choice to bring us your kids. It's just an absolute honor and privilege. Thank you. I got some new reading glasses, and they are really weird. Wow. You know, it's not, the sun's not out, and they're turned into sunglasses. I don't know how that works. No, that's all right. I love the color, though. Every year I like to remind myself that our first graduating class in 1985 consisted of 5 graduates, with a ceremony held on the patio at our original facility at the Coverly Community Center. I remember parents showing up with cheese platters, a couple of chicken sandwiches, and some Diet Cokes, and a lot of hope. A lot of hope. Hope that their kids would discover many of the wondrous things that life's going to bring them. Hope they find inner peace and happiness. Hope for their futures in general. Knowing that life rarely brings us the things we expect, but really ends up bringing us the experiences we need. And those graduates way back then, I ran into one the other day at the Harley shop. He's just turned 51. And I looked at him, but I had to go back 30 some odd years. I went, wait a minute. I just time traveled through that 3 decades. And then I had to go look in a mirror and went, oh my God. So yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a wondrous journey. These original PAP kids, they're at their own graduations with their own children, like you are here today. So here we are 32 years later. I look around, the venue's changed. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Coverly Community Center. It's not pretty. And here we are at the Mountain Terrace, an amazing location. Actually, Lisa and I discovered this place 15 years ago when we got married, and we've had every graduation here ever since. And where's Denise? Denise, our hostess, who sets this up every year for us. Denise, we love you. Thank you very much for taking such great care of us. It's just really extra special. After the ceremony, feel free to stop at the wine bar up there on the patio and have a glass of Cabernet or Chardonnay on us. No, seniors, you may not. Remy can. Remy's the only 21-year-old I see over there. And and there's a no-host bar, and don't be bashful about tipping Lloyd. He loves it. Palo Alto Prep class of 2017 we've done some pretty amazing things. We've witnessed firsthand what a country strike in Argentina looks like. We've walked the path of the civil rights movement in the Deep South and backpacked the trails of Northern California. These kids, many of them, have piloted aircraft before they could drive a car. We have certified scuba divers. They've spent days in Lake Tahoe and on the American River, or singing and playing music with Matt. I hear they've actually enjoyed Mr. Fryer's jokes and lectures and written novels with Allison, played endless hours at Dungeons and Dragons with Joe, and hanging out in Mr. Howard's classroom. But more importantly, they walked their individual paths that brought them to Palo Alto Prep towards this day in their high school graduation. At this point, would you guys stand? Give your parents a big round of applause, because they're that other leg of the stool. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Amazing, amazing. Thanks, guys. At this point, I'd like to introduce our Dean of Students, Lisa O'Hearn-Keck. Thank you.
The rain is stopping a little bit. As soon as I say that, it'll pour. We have a number of awards to give out tonight, but the first one actually is a recognition. We have an amazing, amazing group of parents at Palo Alto Prep, and we are so incredibly grateful for your support, not only for your students, but also for the school as a whole. And I'd like to recognize this evening Christine Bumgardner for chairing the Parent Advisory Group. She has done an amazing job. They've added curriculum to the school, brainstormed a lot about college, and just the activities, everything has been absolutely amazing. I made it big enough. The young man I present to you today as our salutatorian was admitted into every college he applied to. Chapman, Dominican, Lewis and Clark, Linfield, Whittier, University of Portland, to name a few. I think there were about 14. St. Mary's in Moraga is the one that will have the honor of his attendance in the fall. I give you Jackson St. Germain.
I've changed a lot in my 4 years at Palo Alto Preparatory. At the end of my middle school, I wanted to go to Sequoia with the rest of my friends. Although, after talking to my parents about all of my school options, we eventually decided on Palo Alto Prep. Looking back on it, I feel that Palo Alto Prep was the best choice I could have made for high school. If I went to any of the other schools I was thinking of going to, I don't think I would be as successful as I am now. Palo Alto Prep's teaching style suited me better than what I was used to, and influenced me to try harder. I enjoyed how personal the teaching could be, and this benefited me greatly. Whenever I needed help, I had access to it. Palo Alto Prep had a great environment to it, and that helped me maintain success. Palo Alto Prep has prepared me well for college, and I feel that I've gotten the most out of my high school experience. I've learned and changed a lot in my 4 years here, and in those 4 years, I've made a lot of great memories. I would like to thank my friends, family, and teachers who have been supportive and have made an impact on me and my education. I wish all the graduates here the best of luck. Congratulations, class of 2017.
As part of our graduation every year, we give awards to undergraduates, I guess you would call them, students that are not seniors, and some seniors in academic areas. The first award is for math, and it will be presented by Andrew Jonas.
Save the best for first, they always say. I had a lot of options this year in giving out the math award, and a lot of creative minds and some students who love talking about math. But I saw not just one, but two students who have worked harder than any student I've worked with before, and I had to. I felt it was only right to give them this recognition. They spent time after school working on calculus stuff, and it was such a consistent schedule where there were some days they'd walk in and I'm like, wow, you two are amazing, you're here again. And just the hard work and effort that they put to get through and enjoy the class, it thrilled me. And I wanted to say congratulations, Jackson and Adam, on your hard work in calculus.
Santa Claus! Santa! Take off your hat.
The next award is for science, and it will be presented by Chris Vaughn.
Chris.
Thank you, Santos, for your encouraging words. So, the award for science, there was one student that really stood out in my mind as a person that really enjoyed science and was willing to help other students, and as a result of those traits, this is the person that I decided to give the science award to. The science award this year, this is my first year here, by the way, so this is my first year having to give awards like this, but I enjoy giving this award to Sam Anderson for his awesome science award. Sam has been inspirational to me.
Sam!
The next award is for Spanish. She said she can't hear. Matt, can you get louder?
Yeah.
Hello in the back. I'm going to keep talking until... Dustin, can you hear me? Can you see me, Dustin? Oh, that sounds better to me anyway.
Thanks, Dustin.
Thank you, Dustin.
Thank you very much, Matt. The next award is for Spanish, and it will be presented by Julia.
We love her.
I've had a wonderful time this year teaching my Spanish 3 class. They've just been so wonderful. I could give a prize to all of them, all 6 of them. Mature people, and I'm hoping that I could get Lisa to make a Spanish 4 class or Spanish conversation, something just to keep it going. They've just been wonderful. However, the boy to whom I'm giving this the award this year has stood out for the past 3 years, I suppose it is, as a person who is diligent and very perseverant and always does the homework, always does everything that's asked of him, always polite, and even at I can't say it, just a very, very sweet person, very nice, and very good at Spanish. I'm proud to present this award to Ryan Duttel. The
next award is for social science, and it's for the person that's put up with Mr. Fryer. Mr. Fryer has been with Palo Alto Prep 15th year.
They won't let me go. I ran away and they caught me. So a lot of times, social science is often a maligned study. Social sciences, why would I need this? And what's the point? When am I ever going to use this? And it's kind of like math. What's the point? But it's the study of human behavior and the human condition and our combined experiences as living on a planet. And it's really about human endurance. A lot of times when you study social sciences, you're talking about government, and we know how fun government is right now, and it's about economics, and we know how fun economics is right now to look at. And we study wars and so on, but it really is about the human spirit and the ability to endure. And that's the spirit that I looked at this award. It's a student that I saw that had many challenges. As humans, we have our own faults, our own foibles. We have our own experiences, and this student really challenged themselves and kept strong, and was the epitome of the human spirit to endure. So I'd like to give this award to Stacy Chow.
The next award is for music, and it's presented by Matthew Major.
Maddie!
Matt graduated from Palo Alto Prep in 2005.
All right, so hello everybody.
Yeah, nice.
So the music award, I think everyone in the music class sees music as one of the most favorite reasons to get out of bed and makes them excited to come to PAP. And this person that is going to get the music award, I'm not sure if they're even aware of the effect they have on the room, and the calming presence, the inspiration for everybody, and just the potential for leadership. That I think they deserve the music award more than anybody. And I'd like to present this award to Susie Navarro.
Yay! Rock star.
Ow!
Rock star.
Hey now.
Such a crazy world that I'm standing up here taking pictures of you guys. I can't get used to it yet. The next award is for English 11-12, and it's presented by Christopher Howard.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mr. Howard, and I taught English 11-12, as you just heard. And my class can be somewhat challenging. I ask some questions that when I go into class, I don't know the answers to them. They're the type of questions like, what is meaning? What does it mean to be a good human being? Stuff like that. That aren't very easy to answer. And I had two particular students that time and time again surprised me with the depth and insight in which they were willing to throw themselves into those questions, to kind of exhaust themselves in the search of answers to what it means to live a good life, to what the purpose is of reading literature, period, which is to hold up a mirror to our lives and discover the humanity that lays inside of us and also others. And two students that continually surprised me were Mr. Ryan Dontel and Roger Baumgartner.
Two awards.
Two events. Ryan wins.
I want cowgirl.
There you go, united. All right, look at your mom.
Turn around. Take a picture.
Woo!
The next award is for creative writing, and it's presented by Allison.
Alice.
Well, so I love teaching creative writing so much, and the kids write the most amazing things, and they perform them, and they do things they never thought they would do, and I see them do things that I never thought they would do, and it's pretty unusual class. This student writes differently in the way that like Faulkner or someone else that I don't necessarily 100% understand writes, but there is a beauty and a depth to it that transcends grammar. It really, this student I chose because above any other of my students, he loves literature. I remember freshman year would talk to me about Of Mice and Men, which he'd read the previous year. I've never had a kid come back and want to discuss the literature they read in their previous years. He's always looking for symbols in his writing and in others' writing. He was talking to me about some of the novels that were being read by other students in classes he didn't have. And he asks me all the time, can I read this book? Should I read this book? And I'm like, yeah, of course. So I had a lot of very, very talented students, but there's one other thing about this student, which is that he's incredibly nice to everyone and makes everyone feel really, really good. So as part of a class where your feelings and your deepest creativity, which is a very vulnerable part of us, is being exposed to a bunch of people who you may not have known very long, that was a very valuable thing, and I just really appreciated it. And I'm sorry to see, I'm very happy to see him move on and grow up, but it's bittersweet. I just wanted to read you one quick tiny excerpt. I had a lot of pieces that I looked through. Don't worry, I picked the shortest possible one. This is posted maybe on a social media site. He wrote this. It's very short. It just says, this was from a poem. It says, "No time to make poetry. Existence is poetry. Write it." And I thought that was very fitting for graduation. Hey, Stu.
The next word, I'm not sure if the student is here. The next award is presented by Joe Cannon. It's for American Sign Language. Joe and Charlie, I think it is.
Charlie.
Charlie's going to do the
Yeah,
speech.
Charlie's here for emotional support. So this year's Sign Language Award goes to a student who combines all of the different factors of sign language. There's this element of understanding a minority community that is often not recognized or spoken about, and understanding their struggles and wanting to speak up for them. There's Alice wants to help me too. There's the element of taking a language that is vocal and linear and translating all of that emotionality, all of that meaning into something that's spatial, something that includes your whole body, and capturing that and turning it into something new and something beautiful, something that can capture things the English language can't. All of this culminated in a challenge this year for the final. This year for the final, I expected my students to watch a speech that they had never seen before, and in that moment translate it for me as though they were a live interpreter. And the student translated Lyndon B. Johnson's speech about signing the Civil Rights Bill all those years ago, and put all of that emotionality of that culture and turned it into something beautiful, something you could see on his face, something you could see in his whole body, that he really did care, and that he really could do this. He looked really just like a professional. So that student is Daniel Pablo. I'm hoping he's here today. Oh, that's too bad. Well, I'm gonna treasure the moment when I get to hand him that and tell him exactly how I felt about that event and about his time here. All right.
Accepting for Daniel Pablo are Alice and Charlie. Alice and Charlie are Joe and his beautiful wife's twins.
Ugly Joe and his beautiful wife. I didn't say beautiful Joe. Joe and his beautiful wife. Ugly Joe.
We are a family business. The next award is an award we started about 2 years ago, and it's for community service. And we do not, as a lot of high schools require their students to do community service, we don't. However, we think it's really important, and for those who do community service outside of school, we like to recognize it and to encourage it. I find a lot of times in high school when you make your students go out and do it, they just think it's drudgery and they hate it. And I think if kids are encouraged to do it on their own and find something that they enjoy, then it's something they might do for the rest of their lives. So the winner of our Community Service Award, and this is based upon hours given in the last year, is Chris Anderson.
Chris for president.
Chris is also one of our students that's on his way to becoming a pilot.
Yay!
Our next speaker is spunky, for sure. She came to Palo Alto Prep in her sophomore year and has given us her enthusiasm and energy and her thoughts at every juncture. No one can ever say you don't know when she's in a room. I've had the pleasure of traveling with this young lady to Argentina this spring and seeing absolutely what a caring and supportive and loving friend that she really is. She's attending Austin College in the fall, and it's Michaela Randall.
Hello. For those of you who don't know, my name is Michaela Randall. I went to Notre Dame in Belmont, but then mid-year sophomore year, I transferred to Palo Alto Prep. My transition from Notre Dame to Palo Alto Prep was scary but fun. That feeling will be the same when we move to college, whether that is local or out of state. College is a place where you gain most of your independence and make new friends. For most of you thinking or going to college is scary, well, you're right. You're going to a place you're not familiar with, a place that isn't home, but a place that will turn into home just like Palo Alto Prep was for me. As you transition from high school to college, you lose some initial security that you once had at Palo Alto Prep. In college, you will have to advocate for yourself and your own sense of self. College is a place to experience certain activities you wouldn't do in high school, like joining a sorority or fraternity, or starting a new club. If there's one thing you should take from Palo Alto Prep, it is the way the school formed you. Don't lose that, because if you lose that, you will be lost in college. Don't think of this as an end, but as the beginning of a new life and a new chapter. You will meet people who will push you down and who will try to tell you what to do. Well, screw them. You make your own path and own career. That is what Palo Alto Prep did. They formed you to be who you are. It is now our job to continue that as we go off to college.
Thanks, Michaela. I have one more award that I missed, and that is for art, and it's presented by Miss Tiffany Seagrave.
Hello. I wanted to give the art award to all of the art kids because they're all my favorite, but they wouldn't let me, so I had to choose one. This person joined art a little bit late, and right from the start, they were super excited to do any of the projects. They filled up the sketchbook I gave them within a week, and then went and got their own, and since then have filled that one up, and they are always making really cool projects. They're always really kind to the other students in the class. Whenever we have another new student, they're there to welcome them and help them learn about the different things we've already covered. I'm really excited to give the art award to Adam Parmet.
And our final award of the evening will be presented by Christopher Keck.
Hi again. Hey, Skinner, come on up here.
Nathaniel.
This year's Principal Award is going to an individual who has overcome in his 18 years more than most of us. Hush, this is my speech. In 18 years, more than most of us will deal with in a lifetime. Due to circumstances fully out of his control, he has been in foster care since the age of 7. Nate came to us from Esther B. Clark School in Palo Alto. This school, EBC, is a particular favorite for us at PAP. Nate has been with us for 4 amazing years. Amazing. Let's see. This past week, he was asked to be the keynote speaker at EBC's graduation, where he delivered. Unbelievable. He sat there in front of a group 4 times this size up on a stage and delivered a speech. He had a third of the people in tears. 15 people coming up to him afterwards, acknowledging him, kids coming up and saying, "You've inspired me." I think you found a new calling. Public speaking, but not now. Let's see. Yeah, he was amazing. I'm going to read an email that was sent to Nate from the director of the Esther B. Clark School, Chris Harris, after Nate had presented. It says, "Hey Nate, on behalf of us at Esther B. Clark, I want to officially thank you for your inspirational speech. I was watching the audience and your talk very much resonated with a ton of our parents. It was genuine from the heart, yet tremendously insightful and reflective. You did a great job. But more than that, you are an inspiration for many, how you have coped with true hardship, the kind most of us will never have to experience, and yet there you are graduating and going on to college all on your own. Incredible for the resiliency, determination, for the hard choice making, and for your fortitude that you've exhibited repeatedly throughout your adolescence, starting with us. I wish the best going forward. I am sorry I have a conflict on Thursday night. I would have loved to have been there and given you a standing ovation as you received your diploma. If you would scan me a copy of your speech, I would like to make sure I have it for the Esther B. Clark archives. Thanks, Nate. Have a wonderful graduation. I'm cheering for you. Christopher Harris."
The valedictorian of the class of 2017 is not one to stand out or make a fuss. Most of the fuss is over those who want to say hello to our ever faithful companion, Remy. I give to you Molly Morgan.
So, can everyone hear me from the back? Okay. Thank you to everyone at PAP for all of your support for getting us to this great point. Thank you to the administration, the teachers, and everyone else who works to make PAP run. And congratulations to all of the graduates and their families. I debated how to approach this speech, and I thought, now that I'm wise, because everyone knows that wisdom automatically comes when you're getting your diploma at graduation,
Now that I'm wise, I'm going to let you all in on 3 very important life lessons that I have learned as I've grown up. The first lesson is, don't get too attached to the outcome. Let go of what you think is the best for you, and open up to the possibilities. I've grown up in the same house my entire life, and I knew from an early age what elementary, middle, and high school I was going to go to, and who I would go to them with. And it all worked out up until my freshman year of high school. I entered high school thinking I would do well, take AP classes, graduate, and then go off to my dream college. And then one day I found myself frozen, sitting on the school bathroom floor, unable to move. I figured out later that I had had a panic attack. That's when everything started to change. I didn't know what to expect each day, didn't know if I could even get through the day without having another panic attack, and each moment took all of my energy. Eventually, it got so bad that I couldn't get out of bed, and I stopped going to school. The next couple of years were immensely difficult, and I found myself going from home hospital instruction to a small classroom, to a boarding school, and then finally landing here at PAP. I certainly never expected to be here, and if you had told me 4 years ago that I was going to graduate from here, it would have really freaked me out. But here I am in front of friends, family, and supporters, making a speech as valedictorian. I guess one of the lessons I learned on that difficult journey was to let go of expectations and be open to new opportunities. The second lesson is about happiness, and specifically where you can find it. You can find happiness in the smallest moments, and this is something we need to hang on to. It can be easy to get caught up in the doom and gloom of the world. You think, I've got a test I don't feel ready for. The planet is overheating. My dog won't stop chewing on his paw or eating grass. Neuroscience tells us that our brains focus in on the bad. It's hard to fight to see the good. Despite all of these negatives that can feel overwhelming, there is still good all around us, even in the smallest details. Like when Remy looks up at me with his big brown eyes, or when the temperature feels perfect. See bad, but you can find the good. Remy's very cute. He makes up for it, luckily. Thus, my advice to everyone is to find the good and hold it close, because neuroscience also tells us that what we focus on becomes our reality. My third and final piece of advice is to get to know yourself. Now that we're graduating and leaving high school, how many times has someone asked you, so what's next? What's your plan? What are you going to do? No pressure. But maybe some of you are like me and you don't know. I don't know where I want to go to college for 4 years. I don't know what I want to do as a career, and I don't even know where I want to live. But how are we supposed to know all the answers when we're still figuring out who we are? I think the best we can do here is to keep growing, to keep getting to know ourselves, our strengths, what we like, what we don't like, and what we have to offer the world. So I'd say, if you're going to college, take a variety of classes and see what sticks. If you're not, try different jobs. Travel, explore, go to workshops, volunteer, keep growing. You may not know what is next, but I bet you do know some things that are definitely not next. I know I personally am not going to become an architect, or a science teacher, or join the Navy like some of my fellow graduates. But that's helpful information, because now I can focus my energy over here on the things that do interest me and whittle it down to work's best for me. So if you don't know what you want to do, and even if you do, just remember it's a process and a journey, and you'll probably change along the way as you get to know who you are. I guess what I'm saying is be open and flexible, pay attention to the good, and get to know yourself without feeling the pressure to have it all figured out right this minute. In closing, I just want to give a shout out to some people who have made my journey a little easier. Thank you, Allison, for providing a great space where I can hang out, feel comfortable, and play board games. Lisa D's not here, but I just wanted to say thank you to Lisa D for supporting me and taking me to Starbucks for chocolate muffins. Thank you, Mr. Howard, for inspiring me to want to learn and maybe even teach. Thank you, Remy, for all the times that you looked up at me like I was the most important person on the planet. You all know the look. And thank you to my parents who have kept me going and made me laugh and helped me to fundraise for a service dog and made difficult decisions and loved me unconditionally. So to the class of 2017, congratulations and may you have a wonderful life. There you go, Remy.
Something that's not on the program. We have a few staff members that I wanted to point out. Allison, how long have you been with the school? This is your 5th year? Yeah. See, our staff usually stick around. They usually don't run out with their hair on fire. But then they do something goofy like run off and get married. So, congratulations, Allison. Allison got engaged last week, and she's going to be heading down to the desert. Her fiance is kind of like a wildlife biologist. He's going to be chasing reptiles around in the desert, and have fun with that. You're going to be missed, truly, truly. And we have another staff member who's been with us for 4 years, and that's Andrew Jonas, our math teacher. And Andrew, thank you. Thank you for everything that you brought. You both brought great game. You've made a difference. Andrew decided that he wants to go teach internationally. He just hasn't figured out which continent yet, but he's working on it. And wherever you end up, I just hope you never forget us and come back and visit. All right? Thank you very much.
And now the moment we've all waited for. You do receive empty diplomas, so just know you're not graduated yet. I'm just kidding. Grades come out tomorrow. As far as I know, you all are graduating. I would like the class of 2017 to please stand, and may we give them some applause. You may now sit. Our first diploma is presented to Santos Boy, and it's presented by Chris Howard.
Congratulations. So Santos was the first student I ever met when I first got a job here at Palo Alto Prep, and he's the one that made me feel welcome. As soon as I stuck out my hand and introduced myself as Mr. Howard, the incoming English teacher, Santos, without missing a beat, stuck out his hand and shook it and started talking to me. And that was the moment, meeting with Santos, that I knew I'd fit in and that it would be okay. Because even though I may be an adult and a teacher, it's still scary entering a new space. And Santos made me feel safe and welcome and helped me build a foundation to embody those same values to other students who would show up. And I'm so proud of you, Santos. Despite the trials and tribulations you have faced, you've conquered them. And you've conquered them still maintaining a little piece of you that recognizes the humanity that you have and humanity that others have. And I don't want life to ever take that away. Congratulations, Santos.
Hello. Oh. Sorry, I'm really tired. I like to share something as part of my life. I'm adopted, and for all young women, young kids, or people are planning to adopt a child, maybe I suggest if you do adopt a child, don't let the kid see its parents. That's the worst mistake I ever made in my life, and I'll tell you that why. Because like those lay something on you for like no reason straight, and like they're the reason why I want to blast myself every morning. But like I have friends and family to keep me from doing that. So like just don't do that. And like like Mr. Howard, me and him, we've had a bad childhood, so that's why I can relate to him. I have my ups and downs at this school, and I just want to thank everyone here. Thank you.
The next diploma is Adam Garzone, and it's presented by Dylan Rich.
Adam, I've known you for a while now, and you've made amazing strides this year.
Get up there,
I
get
think so much that you've amazed me. You've had challenges. I mean, chemistry, calculus, those are not easy subjects. And I think you even surprised yourself. I think you're going to go on to do great things. I think you found something new in yourself. And I'm just really proud of you. And I'm proud to give you your diploma.
Got to walk the gauntlet. Our next graduate is Jackson Henderson, and his diploma is presented by Chris Howard. Jackson?
Congratulations, Jackson. Or should I say, Hendy?
Woo! Hendo!
So, Jackson Henderson came to me pretty, late in the year. I haven't had him a ton of time, but Jackson came to me kind of cloistered in a way, kind of closed up in himself. And one of the most rewarding things for me in having Jackson was to see him open up and engage. And not only engage in a way that made my, my little English teacher heart shine when he engaged with these giant ideas that I pressure any youth to engage with, because there can be the same questions you ask yourself when you get older about what it means to live a meaningful life, what it means to be a good person. But Jackson stood out to me in a way, engaging other students about what they were saying and inspiring them to really think about what they said, that I didn't feel alone up there as the only person listening to these ideas that other people shared. And to me, that was one of the greatest things I've seen in class this year, was to see Jackson ask people, what do you mean by that? I'm sorry, but the last thing you said, I just want to know one thing. And to see him grow and to branch out like that, it's what you hope every kid does. And that's why I have a lot of confidence and hope for Jackson's future, because I know that pretty much anything he does, he's going to be an asset. And that's what makes me excited to hand Jackson his diploma. Thank you, Jackson.
Our next graduate is Jackie Hoffman. Jackie. I'm going to read it because I don't go well off the cuff. Bloom where you're planted is a quote I've always loved, but in giving it some thought the last week or so, I'm not sure if blooming has most to do with the soil, the sun, or just the heart of the plant that really wants to shine through. I think it's the latter, which is the desire to shine through what is given to you and learn to adapt and grow and later bloom. Jackie, you've definitely begun to bloom. But it's early, and there's so much more of yourself that will be uncovered as you continue to know yourself. When we first met, you were not ready to be a part of our community and not ready to embrace the people who have helped you on this journey. But wow, what a difference a few years makes. Seeing you in Argentina laughing and sightseeing and shopping, I saw that you were not just surviving, but you were blooming. You've learned to do what you need to do for you to continue to grow and be strong and become more resilient and strong. Remember, you are stronger than you know, and if you ever doubt it, I'm here to remind you. Our next graduate is Emily Hughes, and it's presented by Joe Cannon. Woo!
Yeah, Emily!
Great scam.
I promise to embarrass Emily. That's my goal. Emily, I've known for just this year. She came here with the goal of just coming to school and graduating. And she decided, you know what, I want a new goal. I'm going to just stomp my challenges to dust and work my butt off every day and conquer some of the hardest classes we offer here at Palo Alto Prep, and then just make it look easy the whole time. So Emily, you're good, you're worth it, and you're ready.
Our next graduate is Hayes Jew, and it's presented by Joe Cannon.
Hayes I've known for 5 years. So we have a long history. He's my favorite person to have long conversations that explore his exercises in creative absurdity. And then after half an hour of talking about the void and outrageous extreme ideas, there comes this string of shockingly beautiful poetry that just kind of knocks you off your feet. Hayes recently came to staff here at Palo Alto Prep and said, "Are you sure I have to leave?" I'm not done learning yet. And my answer to you, Hayes, is that the world is your classroom now, and there's so much to explore, and you're ready to look around and see new things.
I'll never forget. He sat there with a look on his face like a lost little puppy. But I wanted to go on the field trip next year. That's always coming.
Our next graduate is Brian Leckballer, and it's presented by Chris Howard. Chris Howard to the front, please.
You made it, man. Congrats. Congrats. You guys Howard? You do well.
Long room.
Hey Brian, how you doing? So Brian is one of the first kids that I made a really great connection with at Palo Alto Prep. He's one of the first kids that I sat with and talked about a common and shared interest. Pop culture, whatever else, computers, etc. It was just nice to sit and be able to talk with somebody that shared such a quick and imaginative wit on all of these topics. Brian engaged at a level that made me feel like I was engaging with someone around my own understanding on a lot of topics, and just made me, he just gave me a foothold at a school when I was finding my feet, and I was making that really harsh adjustment from coming in from public to private. So thank you so much, Brian, for the things that you've given me, and I'm so happy to see you here today. Congratulations. Don't use it all up.
Our next graduate has only been with us for a year. And it's a huge disappointment because I think he probably is one of our biggest ambassadors. Rory McCabe, and it's presented by Daniel Meyer.
Thank you. Congratulations, Rory. I present you with your high school diploma with great pride and great pleasure. I've known you for 7 years. 2 as a student in my classroom, where we learned science, adventured in the outdoors, and grew up. At least I did. And then for the next 4 years, followed you through high schools, by your side, supporting you, being there for you, cheering for you as I cheer today. It's a great honor to present this to you. It hasn't been an easy road for you, I know. It's been a long road. And sometimes that road isn't a road at all. It's a lake, a stream, or a river. For many of you know that Rory loves fishing. Of his many talents and many pleasures in life and many passions, fishing is certainly one of them. Which brings me to the little quote or little saying that if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he will eat forever. And eat for a lifetime, okay. It's nice when the student corrects the teacher, it's fine. He corrects his parents, his grandparents. It's his world, I'm just on it. But if you listen to that little quote and you talk about and listen to how you can teach someone, what I've known is that as an educator, we think that what we have to offer is what the students have to learn, but really what the students have to offer is what we as adults and teachers have to learn, and I've learned a lot from Rory. I believe that in the future, Rory will find his passions and follow his passions and follow his heart, whether it's through water, on land, over the sea, through the air. Rory has the ability, the talent, and the potential to make a difference in the world, and I look forward to watching that as it happens.
Okay, let's get to the point. This is my show tonight. I've been waiting all year for this. Thank you. Thank you all. No, but it's been a long 4 years. I've been to 3 different high schools now, and unfortunately last year my high school closed down on me. Just for me, though. It's my world. But no, last year I was a little bit scared. At the end of the year, I kind of was left wandering throughout the world of education, wondering where I was going to go. And kindly enough, Lisa and Chris, sorry, I called you Lisa there. Chris and Lisa allowed me to come to Palo Alto Prep, and it's been a great year, and I really think I've advanced a lot and learned a lot through this school. So thank you guys for having me, and thank you to the staff and all the students for being the support system here.
Red Rory.
Loving the boots, dude. One of a kind, man.
Fish. For digging a grenade. Kill all fish.
Our next graduate has traveled the world with us, Mel McCullough, and it's presented by Mr. Joe Cannon.
Yeah!
So the most striking thing about Mel is his relentless pursuit of knowledge. He really makes that one of his personal goals to learn as much as he can, whenever he can, at any cost, even though that cost is sometimes sleep and sometimes sanity. It's been wonderful over the last 3 years working at Palo Prep, witnessing him demonstrate his many talents, benefiting from his research, and engaging him in more than a few debates. We've done a lot, from exploring what it means to be strong, what it means to be a leader, what it means to recognize your differences with the world, and what it means to listen to what other people are going through. And today's the day where Mel is a step closer to the freedom and respect that he's been striving for his whole life.
I think I'm the only one here who can truly say I've walked a mile in Mel's shoes. We were on a field trip down in Peru, and we went into a restaurant where you had to remove your shoes. And it was dark by the time we left. And the only pair of hiking boots left I put on, and they looked like my hiking boots, but they felt a little big. I wear a 9, and these were like 12s. But it was late at night.
Congrats, bro.
I don't know how many days I walked around in those things.
And Mel's were a little tight.
That feel.
Our next graduate is Molly Morgan. Hello, Molly. I wish that I could stand the shy, quiet girl that I met a couple years ago next to you right now, because you bear no resemblance to that young lady. You've blossomed into a strong, supportive young lady with a lot of perseverance, a lot of energy, and a lot of mentorship in yourself. I think that you will be an incredible mentor to other people. You also have beautiful eyes. I've never sat this close to you. Thank you. You have taken every step that you've had through the different changes that you've gone through, and you've gone through them, and you've tackled them. You tackled another one this semester, going to college part-time, and done extremely well. And we're so proud of you. And I just see your next step to college as just being one more of those steps that you take. And you just tackle it one after another with the strength and the strength that you continue to embody and gain. And I guess if Remy could speak to you right now, what he would say is he'd look up at you and say, whatever is going on, whatever challenges that face, you can do it. You can do it. And I'm here for you. And I'm Remy, and I'm here for you too. I wish you the best. We're going to miss you. But I don't think it's fair that actually I'm the one to give this to you. I really want to invite your parents, George and Lori, to come up and hand this diploma to you, because it does take a village, and and you probably didn't ask them because you thought you'd cry, but I think it's really important that they are part of this. Congratulations.
Oh, trying to skip the gauntlet, man.
It's kind of a play on words, but our next graduate is Jonas Patton, and his diploma is presented by Andrew Jonas.
All right. My favorite part about this kid is his name is Jonas Andrew, and I'm Andrew Jonas.
Made it. Congratulations.
That from day one, we were good forever. I've had the pleasure of knowing Jonas for 4 years, which is not a lot of. I haven't had a lot of students for all 4 years, and you've been one of them. I could tell you clearly like math for 3 of them, and you chose to be my TA this year. But it was, it's amazing seeing you come in as a freshman and grow up. I remember when I first met you, you were pretty shy and awkward. But right before us, you've become quite the gentleman today. One thing that hasn't changed since you were, 14, now you're older. One thing that hasn't changed is your heart. You've always cared about other people, and you've had a big heart. And I've heard a lot of things walking to my classroom. There's a hallway outside my door. I've heard a lot of things. But I don't think I've ever heard anything negative about you, and I don't think you've ever said anything negative, and it's truly amazing. Maybe once you punched Jacob, but he probably deserved it. If I can give one piece of advice, and it sounds a little bit silly, but I'll explain it. It's to drive forward. For the past few years, if anyone said, "Mr. Jonas, what do you want?" I tell them a Beamer. Only one person has ever gotten me that. And it's standing right here. It's a little model car that was sitting on my desk. He said I could do the math or I could get him a Beamer. My advice to you would be to, picture yourself in the front seat and drive forward. Don't focus too much on the past, but don't be afraid of it. That's why you have rear view mirrors. And don't be afraid of the future. You always got to look out and see what's ahead of you. But honestly, live in the present because you're the one driving the car. So congratulations for all the hard work you put in and for moving on to the next phase of your life, which I hope goes well, which is college. So congratulations.
Oh, you gotta give me one. Our next graduate is Michaela Randall, and it's presented by Pam Perez.
Wow, I've never been able to give out a diploma before. My husband is going to be so jealous. And the good thing is that you all went fast, and I know I have 2 minutes, so I think I can do it in 2 minutes if I talk fast. I am really honored to be up here to talk about Michaela Randall. I first met Michaela when I coached her sister's volleyball team in 4th grade. Her sister, who's also a sweetheart. Michaela was in 2nd grade. Yeah, Michaela might disagree with that. I think Michaela actually got more out of the volleyball team and was more interested than the older girls were, and she rapidly became our mascot. She has an infectious, happy, and enthusiastic personality, which kept us all excited and upbeat. And that was whether we won or lost. And she always pitched in to help whenever she could. And at the end of the season, she may not remember, but she wrote me the kindest letter. And she made me feel special as opposed to the other way around. And that's who Michaela is. I have watched her grow over the years, and I would say there have been 3 milestones in her life that have caused her to mature into the wonderful young woman that she is. One is that she had to overcome the rampant bullying that affects almost all of our kids in grammar school these days. And this has taught her to stand up for the downtrodden. 2, she had to make an important decision in switching high schools, as a lot of you kids have. And that's not an easy decision. She had to be brave, and she had to realize that her path was not going to be the path of her older sister. And she learned that she has to forge her own path. And third, her father, as I'm sure some of you know, had a struggle with cancer a few years ago. Unfortunately, he's fine now. But it was not an easy time for a couple of years. And to face perhaps losing a parent is a very tough crisis for a teenager. And she worked through this difficult period with grace and courage. I admired her, and she never gave up. So I would like to wish her 3 things as she moves on to college. First of all, I think her mom should buy her an entire new wardrobe for a job well done. Linda, I can't help but say that because Linda and I have had many experiences shopping with our teenage daughters. So that's a little bit of an inside joke. But seriously, I wish her 3 things. 1, as she goes off to college, I want her to realize that her education gives her the power to keep learning and be a lifelong learner, and to apply what she learns not only to improve her life, but the lives of others. Michaela has always wanted to be a teacher, and she will make an empathetic and enthusiastic one. Of that, I have no doubt. As we saw today, teachers are an important influence in children's life. So I wish for her that she connects with her students, maybe ditches some of the technology, connects with her students, and guides them as I know she will be able to. 2, I wish that she considers failure as a learning tool. If she fails, and she will, everybody does, you learn more from your failures than your successes, so get up and try again, fail, get up and try again, but never give up. And lastly, and maybe the most important one, is I think the way to be happy is to like yourself. The person that you're with the most is yourself. So if you don't like yourself, you're going to be around somebody you don't like very much all the time, which is not going to be a fun thing. So I want her to like herself, and personally I think the way to like yourself is to do only those things that make you proud. So Michaela, go get them. I know you'll make us all proud, and I will be there for your college graduation. I love you. Yeah, I'll take that.
Our next graduate is Nathaniel Skinner, and it's presented by Mr. Joe Cannon.
So Nate and I have known each other for 5 years, ever since EBC. And, you know, someone can change a lot over 5 years. The subject of your conversations change. We started with, you know, the first thing he said was, I'm Darth Vader. What happens if I try to force choke you right now? And I said, do you think I didn't bring my force dampening field? And then we knew. So we spent a lot of time talking about what it takes to survive when you've been swallowed by a sarlacc, how to spend a few months, you know, getting slowly digested and still make it out, even though your jetpack doesn't work anymore. And our conversations have taken a bit of a turn over the last 5 years. We started talking about how to celebrate your strengths, how to recognize and accept your fears, how to forgive the people in your world, and how to get by, and knowing the symbols that matter to him, and knowing the way that he talks about people. I know that as he stops looking at this community and starts stepping out into the world and thinking about what that means for him, he's going to do good things. He's going to do things that matter. He's going to make changes. So I'm proud to give him his diploma today.
Hello.
And last, but certainly not least, Jackson St. Germain, presented by Heather Johansson.
right. Oh, I'm sorry.
So I met Jackson when he was in kindergarten. He had a green first-year kindergarten teacher who had a really clear picture of what kindergarten should look like, with cherub children sitting crisscross applesauce, perfectly listening to stories and coloring in the lines. And Jackson didn't want any of that. That was not his path. He had a different agenda. He had a ton of energy, and coloring the lines was not for him. He was unique and fantastic. Between fidgets and drawers of hands-on activities and lots of wiggling, Jackson completed his kindergarten year, and we moved on to first grade. And it was time to conquer reading. In education, there's lots of talk about grit, determination, learning from mistakes, intellectual curiosity, and when I think of Jackson in his first grade year, he embodied all of those words. He worked so hard. He cannonballed into learning to read. I can distinctly remember sitting at the little round table with him and the fierce look he had on his face as he learned to break down and put together words. He charged at it and he conquered, and I'm in awe, and I still am. I moved on to a new job around his third or fourth grade year. I can't quite remember when. And I remember worrying about so many of the kids I was going to leave behind. And I wasn't worried about you at all, because I knew you had everything you needed to go forth. I'm honored and so proud to be presenting this amazing, determined, intelligent, and wonderful young man his diploma. I can't wait to see what you accomplish next.
We're so Well, we're incredibly blessed because it stopped drizzling. No sun, but we're incredibly blessed. Before we present the class of 2017 to you, I just have a couple things. Once graduation is over, we ask the graduates to come right over here to the left so we can take a class picture. And then families can take pictures. I've got faces like, oh my God, are you serious? And then you can take family pictures if you like. And I asked the graduates to turn in their gowns to Mr. Cannon, but you may keep your caps and take as many pictures as you like. Also, staff, if you could come over here and take pictures. There'll be a reception for probably about a half hour, and then buffet dinner and musical performances afterwards. So please, everyone, stay and celebrate. There are tables reserved for graduates, and then there's open seating for those of you that aren't part of a direct graduates table. We really thank you all for coming.
And one final thing on the pictures, because I know a lot of you are going to want these pictures. We have our photographer James and Dylan here, and they're going to be taking pictures, and these are going to be emailed to you. Dylan's going to put them on the web, so don't feel left out if you're trying to get in there and get a shot of your kids in the group, because you're going to get them. And feel free to step in and push Dylan out of the way and get your pictures. You guys stand up for us. Wow. Palo Alto Prep 2017. Congratulations.
Do we have any music? Don't go anywhere yet. There you go. Woohoo!